So today's topic is translation. Okay. So translation, what's the word meaning of translation? Translation means to convert from one language to another language. Here you can see that here there is conversion from the language of nucleotides to the language of amino acid. Okay. That is DNA, RNA, അതിന്റെ ആ ലാംഗ്വേജിൽ നിന്ന് പ്രോട്ടീൻസിലേക്ക് മാറാണ്. In other words, we can say that it's a process of biosynthesis of proteins from amino acid. This abbreviation is not an accepted one I have written, but you should not write it for the exam. So, biosynthesis of proteins is called as translation. Where does it happen in eukaryotes? It happens in the cytoplasm. In case of prokaryotes, there is no differentiation into cytoplasm and nucleus. So there the whole thing is called as a cytosol. So in case of prokaryotes, where translation happens to in the cytosol. In case of eukaryotes, it happens in the cytoplasm. So from the nucleus, the mRNA is released into the, that is nuclear pores are there, through which it is released into the cytoplasm. Cytoplasmത്തിലാണ് amino acids, ribosome ഇതെല്ലാം ഉള്ളത്. So it is this translation is happening in the cytoplasm. Now the sequence of amino acid in a protein is determined by what? The sequence of nucleotides in the mRNA. So what determines the sequence of amino acid in a protein? What is the answer to be written? The sequence of amino acids in a protein is determined by the sequence of nucleotides in the mRNA. Now, this biosynthesis of protein is also called as polymerization of amino acids to a polypeptide, that is a protein. That is smaller molecule monomers, that is the amino acids. They join together to form a polymer, that is a polypeptide. Here we call it as a protein. Here this is joined, amino acids are joined by what bonds? Peptide bonds. Now, in other words, we can also say that the cognate amino acid is chemically bonded to its tRNA. That's the first step. If ഞാൻ എഴുതിന്റെ കാര്യം ഒരു പ്രാവശ്യം ചോദിച്ച ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ this word ഇത് അറിഞ്ഞുകൂടെ അത് പലരും എഴുതിയില്ല. So what's the meaning of cognate amino acid? The corresponding amino acid എന്നാണ് അർത്ഥം. So ഓരോ കോഡിനും കറസ്പോണ്ടിങ് ആയിട്ട് എന്തുണ്ട്? അതിനൊരു അമിനോ ആസിഡ് ഉണ്ട്. അതിന് കറസ്പോണ്ടിങ് ആയിട്ടൊരു tRNA ഉണ്ട്. അതിനാണ് കോഗ്നേറ്റ് എന്നുള്ള വേർഡ് കൊണ്ട് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. Cognate means the corresponding or the matching type. Okay. Now, what are the key factors needed for translation? So, for translation, mRNA is needed because it is containing the message. tRNA is needed. What's the role of tRNA? It reads and identifies the amino acid. It reads the codon in the mRNA and identifies the amino acid. It binds to the amino acid and bring it to the site of protein synthesis, that is in the cytoplasm, that is in the ribosomes. Now, ribosomes are called as the protein factories of the cell. They themselves are made up of proteins and rRNA. So, ഇതിലുള്ള RNA എന്ന് പറയും rRNA എന്ന് പറയും, ribosomal RNA. So, from here we can understand that all the three types of RNA has an important role in translation. ഒരു പ്രശ്നം ചോദിച്ച ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ആണ്, what is the role of RNA in translation? RNA എന്ന് മാത്രമേ ചോദിച്ചുള്ളൂ. അപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ എന്ത് എഴുതണം? tRNAയുടെ റോൾ എഴുതണം, mRNAയുടെ റോൾ എഴുതണം, rRNAയുടെ റോളും എഴുതണം. Now, amino acid is the main substrate here. നമ്മൾ നേരത്തെ replication അല്ലെങ്കിൽ transcription ഒക്കെ പറഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ nucleotides ആയിരുന്നു important substrate. But here the substrate is the joining thing is amino acids. Now, the main enzyme for starting the process is amino acyl tRNA synthetase. Already we have come across this word when we studied the structure of tRNA. That is a loop for binding for the enzyme amino acyl tRNA synthetase. The name of the enzyme is amino acyl tRNA synthetase. Okay, so this enzyme helps the amino acid to bind to the 3' end of the tRNA. Now, this is the main enzyme. Then initiation and releasing factors. These are certain proteins needed for this process. Starting proteins are called as initiation factors and ending factors are called releasing factors. Because last hour ribosome separated, they release the newly formed protein and the mRNA. That's why it is called as a releasing factors. Now, ATP is needed as an energy source. Magnesium ions are having catalytic role in the first step. So this is also very important. ഇത് ചോദിക്കാതെ 1 മാർക്കിനൊക്കെ ion, which ion is important for translation? So magnesium ions are important. So this is the introduction to translation.